Hello everybody, ProtoFoxy here, coming back at you with another video in the Megatron retrospective here. The last stop, we've got Transformers WFC Siege Megatron, and now you're getting a 3-for-1 out of this because quite literally these are all the same toy with the exception of this guy here. He's got a remolded head. But I'm not going to do 3 separate videos to highlight the same mold, otherwise I'd be talking about the same stuff over and over again. So what I wanted to do was go ahead and get all 3 in here, but these all 3 are different versions of Siege Megatron. Here we have the original paint job. I'll put these 2 up over here. We have the original paint jobs in Siege. So we got the original guy. And then we've got the, I believe this was a Walmart exclusive. This is the cel-shaded paint job version of Siege Megatron. And here is the Generation Selects G2 Hero Megatron paint scheme. And this is actually based on an unreleased Generation 2 paint scheme, and we'll get into that as I talk about more about these. And originally, this was the first Siege Megatron I got. I had no intention on getting Siege Megatron. Not that I didn't like the design or anything. I actually thought it was pretty neat, but I just, out of all the Voyager Megatrons I have, and the one, if you all remember from the previous video when I reviewed the GDO Megatron, that was my go-to Voyager Megatron for years, and just really had no interest in getting it. There was a lot of like mainline stuff I was going to skip because it was like G1 Redux for the sake of reduxing it again. But I got this one because I always like to have pieces of my collection that are unique, and this is actually really based on a very obscure paint scheme from the Generation 2 line, so that was right up my alley. And I got the toy, and I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. I liked the figure. It felt really good in hand. The design was cool and all of that. And then actually here, my next one, the cel-shaded version, I won in an internet giveaway. I had no intention on getting that, but he ended up in my house. I won on a whim. And then this one here, the original Siege Megatron, this actually one isn't mine. This is my son's, and we're putting him in the review because obviously it makes sense to have all 3 of the mold here. But as you can see, Megatron here for War for Cybertron in the Siege line is an H-Tank, very stylized Cybertronian H-Tank. All 3 of them look that way, so there is no difference in vehicle mode. You can definitely see the turret moves. The cannon itself really can't go up, but, you got basic stuff. You got little rolling wheels on the bottom, so he rolls, as he should. And then this one's still obviously my favorite because this is the first and it's based on that just ridiculous G2 color scheme. But all in all, there's that. That is the tank mode. Detail on the tank mode for this toy is definitely done well. We'll get in close here because we got 3 of the same figure here. Obviously, you got the original Siege wearing on the original mold. This one here is done in the cel-shaded, and it looks very much like it came out of Transformers Devastation, the PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One game that came out a few years ago. And then you got our very lovely G2 Combat Hero is what they called that initially. There was going to be 2 and it was canceled. The Combat Hero Megatron. But enough about their tank modes and how much I like those. We're going to go ahead and get these guys down to robot mode. And here we have the trio of Siege Megatrons in robot mode. We will get in close and look at all 3. You can definitely tell that is an updated take on the original G1 Megatron, and he looks very, very good. And then we got this guy here, which we'll highlight shortly. He's a updated G2 paint scheme, but that head sculpt is different. But going through, and we'll go ahead and just pull the original Siege one out because the molds are identical. So articulation obviously rotates at the shoulder and all that. Bicep swivel, elbow, head is on a ball joint. Overall, looks really good. Got a small bit of backpack, but it makes sense for Megatron here. I mean, that's the front of the tank. Definitely some design cues to the original Megatron with the cocked hammer section on his shoulders. So, it's a whole lot of Megatrons in the shot here. But, yeah, and then we'll focus on each one on their own here. Yeah, nice looking face sculpt there. Definitely has the, this is the Siege, wide retail release, and it has the typical Siege wearing and all that good jazz. We got that. Then we've got the cell shaded version, which looks like he came clean out of Transformers Devastation. The detail is done really nicely. I like how it has that very animation cell look to it. Very cool. And then we are going to come in and bring Combat Hero Megatron. Because first off, you'll notice, let me put that down. First off, you'll notice, focus, the head sculpt is different. And once again, we've got another toy that is based on the pre-Decepticon leader, Laborer Minor Megatron from the IDW comic books. And that's kind of a nice little throwback there to the comics. And I like how the black and the white and the red work on his head sculpt and face here. And then obviously we've got the big garish Megatron up front because, you need to know who Megatron is. And then we've got the nice little... let's see, can we focus? Focus. There we go. We got the nice Generation 2, Generation 2 Decepticon logo, and then it says Megatron 95 when that toy should have been released. But all in all, nice paint deco here. I love the kind of jungle camo paint scheme on it. But, yeah, let's get all three in the shot close up together so I'm not pulling completely away here. But all in all three, and like I said, this one here, the original retail Siege, that's not mine, that's my son's. These two here are actually in my collection. But yeah, I was really, really shocked and surprised with this toy. I initially got this one first, the Combat Hero Megatron, just because, it's a throwback to an unreleased toy, and I just dig that. And had no interest in picking up the Siege Megatron. I had my Voyager Megatron with GDO Megs, and I liked it. It fit, it worked well. But I got this in hand, and I'm like, I'm sold. I love it. And this was not one of my first Siege toys, but it was, I was picking up little bits here and there from the line. I wasn't going to dive too much into Siege, but this did it. And like I said, I won this guy in an online giveaway and just couldn't have been happier. But all in all, this is a great toy. This is a great mold. I recommend it highly. Any version of it, the retail version, the cell-shaded version, the Generation Select version. Get any one of these because it's definitely a great toy. I was very pleasantly surprised. That being said, this brings... And I think I'm going to call it Megatronapalooza. I think what I'm going to call this marathon of Transformers Megatron reviews. This brings the Megatronapalooza to a close. I'm glad you all came through and checked it out. I did this in honor of Hasbro's Generation Select's next Megatron toy being the straight up G2 repaint of the Earthrise toy. In full disclosure, I'm not getting the original Earthrise toy. I feel like that this one here is superior. I've seen enough to where the Earthrise toy just doesn't do anything for me, but I'm going to get that G2 Generation Select version because I love the G2 paint scheme. And for everybody who's going in Generation 2 G2. That's what that is. But yeah, that brings Megatronapalooza to a close. And way back in that first video with the Generation 2 Megatron, and you'll see it when I, if you've paid attention to the videos, I posted it in the description that I mathed way wrong. It was 28 years I had those molds, or those toys. So there's that. You can get your laughs in, and hopefully y'all did in the comments. But anyway, that's that. Megatronapalooza is at its end. This is Siege Megatron, the trio of Siege Megatrons here. I recommend it. Whichever one you can get your hand on, get it. This is a great toy. Other than that, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you liked it, maybe shoot a subscribe my way. I would greatly appreciate it. And with all of that said, I will see you all in the next video.